Picture this. It's election day, you're fired up, you walk into your polling place ready to do your civic duty, and boom, they turn you away. Your voice is completely silenced just because of a registration mix-up. It's heartbreaking, right? Voting is absolutely crucial, yet getting registered can sometimes feel like navigating a literal obstacle course. Well, welcome to The Explainer. I'm your host, and today we're zeroing in on a highly specific but incredibly important topic, navigating Wyoming's unique voter registration system. Whether you're a complete beginner getting ready to cast your very first ballot or a longtime resident who just recently moved, we're going to break down every single step you need to take to ensure your vote actually counts. Okay, let's dive right into this by tackling the most common question modern voters have right out of the gate. In an era where we, bank, shop, and file our taxes on our smartphones, most people naturally ask, can I just pull out my phone and register to vote online in Wyoming? I mean, it seems like a simple question, right? But the answer is actually quite rare in the modern U.S. The answer is a hard no. Wyoming does not offer online voter registration. In fact, Wyoming is one of only 8 states that explicitly prohibit online voter registration by statute. No way, right? For those of us used to doing everything digitally, this is a pretty surprising statistic. But it's because the state legislature prioritizes direct, physical verification to ensure the absolute highest levels of election security. That means there are 0 web portals to submit a new registration or to make major updates, like changing the county you live in. So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The digital prohibition. 2. Who qualifies? 3. Required documents. 4. In-person registration. 5. Mail-in steps. And finally, available digital tools. Let's get to it. Starting off with Section 1, the digital prohibition and Wyoming's physical requirement. Basically, Wyoming law mandates that all domestic registration applications must be executed in person or via a physical, notarized mail-in application. The legislative emphasis here is on solemnized interactions. They want a qualified official, like a clerk or a notary, to physically look at you and your documents. And this applies whether you're a brand new voter or you're an existing voter who just moved across county lines and needs to update your address. You simply cannot bypass this physical requirement. Moving right along to Section 2, who qualifies to vote? Okay, here are the standard qualifications. You've got to be a U.S. citizen, a resident of Wyoming, and your specific precinct, and you must be at least 18 years old by the day of the next election. You also can't be currently adjudicated mentally incompetent, and you can't have any unpardoned felony convictions. Now, if you do have a felony conviction, you must have had your voting rights legally restored. Now, I know these seem like standard bullet points, but pay close attention, because proving some of these has recently undergone some major legislative changes. Which brings us to Section 3, Gathering Required Documents under House Enrolled Act 57. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the number 30. Under the strict new 2025 election integrity laws, specifically HEA 57, you must be a bona fide resident of the state of Wyoming for not less than 30 days before the date of the election to qualify. So you can't just move to the state a week before the vote and participate. And more importantly, you have to prove it. Let's compare your document options. The absolute easiest path, like the golden ticket if you will, is a valid, unexpired Wyoming driver's license. As long as it doesn't indicate that you're a non-citizen, this single piece of plastic serves as proof of your identity, your U.S. citizenship, and your Wyoming residency all at once. It's the whole shebang. But if you don't have a Wyoming license, the process becomes a multi-document affair. You'll need to provide the last 4 digits of your social security number, plus separate, distinct proofs. You might need a U.S. passport or a certified birth certificate to prove citizenship, an out-of-state real ID or tribal ID to prove identity, and if you lack specific residency documents, you'll literally be required to sign a formal legal attestation swearing that you meet that 30-day residency requirement. So, pro tip, gather these documents before you do anything else. All right, Section 4, In-Person Registration. Now that you've got your documents gathered, the state highly prefers you do this next part in person. You simply visit your local county clerk or town clerk with your physical documents. You fill out the form, hand it to them along with your ID. They verify everything right there on the spot, and boom, you are done. This is by far the easiest way to ensure your registration is processed without a single hitch. It's also exactly what you should do if you need to update your name or address after a move. But what if you can't go in person? That brings us to Section 5, Mail-in Registration Steps. So if you're mailing it in, here are the crucial manual steps. Step 1. Go to the official Secretary of State website at sos.wyo.gov and print the official PDF voter registration form. Make sure to use a black or blue pen. Step 2. Find a notary public. Step 3, and this is absolutely critical, do not sign the form yet. Actually, scratch that. You can't sign it at home. You must sign the oath right in front of the notary or an authorized oath-taking officer so they can legally stamp and seal it. Step 4, make clear physical photocopies of the ID and citizenship documents you showed the notary. And finally, Step 5, mail the entire packet. So the crucial point here is this warning. A very common and honestly very frustrating mistake voters make is mailing their completed packet to the Secretary of State's office in Cheyenne. Do not do this. Your voter registration is handled locally. You must mail your application directly to your local county clerk. Sending it to the state level will cause serious delays, and your application could be rejected entirely.
So, when do you need to do all of this by? Here is your evergreen timeline. The standard deadline to register by mail or in advance at the clerk's office is 14 days before any given election. But here's the good news. Wyoming is actually very accommodating if you miss that 2-week cutoff. They offer same-day registration. This means you can walk into your polling place on Election Day, bring your Wyoming driver's license or your bundle of required documents, register right there, and cast your ballot on the exact same day.
And finally, Section 6, verifying your status online. And this brilliantly illustrates the divide between physical security and digital convenience in Wyoming. Submit a new registration? No, as we've learned, that's strictly physical paper only. But verify your current registration status. Yes! You can use portals like vote.org or the NAS portals to check. You can also easily download the blank forms from the Secretary of State's website. And if you vote absentee, you can securely track your ballot status online using the Wyoming Voter Information Tool. Now, why is checking your status online so absolutely critical? Because of routine list maintenance. Under laws like House Enrolled Act 62, Wyoming aggressively maintains its voter rolls, purging inactive voters every 2 years. If you missed voting in the last general election, you will likely be deactivated. And this catches a lot of people off guard. They show up to vote thinking they registered years ago, only to find they've been purged from the system. So always use those online tools to verify your status a month before the election, just so you have time to re-register physically if necessary.
Now, as election laws are constantly evolving to balance access and security, it's vital to stay informed. Therefore, please note, this explainer is for informational purposes only and reflects the rules and processes as of publication. For the most current, up-to-the-minute information, always check with the official Wyoming Secretary of State's resources or contact your local county clerks directly. Voting isn't just a right, it's the engine of our civic life. The rules in Wyoming are strict for sure, and they require a bit of legwork, paper, and physical interaction, but they are entirely navigable when you know the steps. So I'll leave you with this question. Knowing your vote has a direct civic impact on your town, your state, and your country. What steps will you take today to navigate these rules and ensure your voice is heard in the next election? Will you dig out that birth certificate, look up your county clerk's address? Don't wait until the 14-day deadline. Get your documents together, verify your status, and make sure you're ready. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer, and happy voting.